Welcome into the CHGO Bears Podcast on this Bears Monday. Oh, so close to victory.
What were they?
Or at least the Saints let them hang in there enough to make it seem that way. Adam Hoge, Carman, Herb Howard with you as we're breaking it all down on a Monday. How you guys feeling?
I feel great. Excited for this short week. Excited to hear Matt Eberflus talk today. Excited that Herb's here. Excited that we're about to bring in a big-time guest to talk about some quarterback play. And I'm still a little bit nauseous about the fourth quarter yesterday, but that's okay. I'm moving forward.
It was a tough fourth quarter. We do have Matt Eberflus talking to the media at 12:30, so that's coming up. We'll probably have comments from him at some point here in the middle of the show. Maybe we'll get some news on Justin Fields, and maybe this thing's going back to Justin on Thursday. Don't know, but at this point we do know we've had 3 games of Tyson Bagent. And we have a special guest coming in with us right now, right off the top of the show. Ken Mastrole, who trains quarterbacks, has a passing academy, one of the best QB coaches out there, and happened to train Tyson Bagent back in the winter leading into the draft, basically from January up to the draft. So he knows Tyson Bagent well. He's joining us now. Ken, thanks so much for jumping on with us today.
Absolutely. Appreciate you having me on.
So be honest, when you're training him, did you think that by, early November, that he would have 3 NFL starts under his belt already? It's quite, before we get into how he's played, this is just a remarkable story. It's a really cool story.
Absolutely. I mean, just going through the whole process, I've had the opportunity to train guys that were kind of late round picks that kind of jumped up, or free agents that have still stuck in the league. And, going through the whole process, I was like, this kid's got an it factor to him. He's got the size. It was kind of wild that he didn't get – I understand he was from a Division II school, but when he didn't get drafted, a little disappointed, and then thought, man, the odds are stacked against him. But I just thought, man, this kid's got all the intangibles to be at the NFL level.
So, Ken, the excitement was real after he beat the Raiders, and now it's like – there's a few of us left on the bandwagon. I'm one of them. I still think there's a lot on the tank here, and he's had 3 NFL starts. For those that are doubting him, what would you say about Bagent that, hey, man, like if he gets a chance to play down the line, does some more learning, that this guy is a legit NFL quarterback? Or maybe you don't think that. I think you do, though.
No, I do. I think he is. Obviously, from watching the games or seeing the clips, he's got to eliminate, some of those turnovers. Some, I know he tried to fit him into some tight windows, some tight spaces, probably could have been a little advised in the fumble to put him in a tough position. But, he's out there making throws. There's not a lot of guys that can make those throws. Obviously, you have to make those throws if you're going to play at the NFL level. But I do think he's a legit, smart NFL quarterback. He's just got to cut down on the turnovers. That's the biggest thing.
That is what it is. The game is protecting the football and not turning it over. But what do you like, having worked with him so closely, what do you like most about him, his makeup, or his game itself?
Well, the biggest thing I think, there's a lot of intangibles that you have to have, but the kid's he's just even keel all the time. He doesn't get emotional. He's got kind of just lays low. He doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low. And, he's a smart kid. When we were going through the process, he's constantly studying. He's going on the board. He had a former coach from college with him that was staying with him, and he's just constantly going through the X's and O's. And then when you bring in other coaches, I brought a couple guys in that were retired. They made comments like, this kid's he's got it. He understands it. They would throw concepts at him and different little things that maybe former NFL offenses that they ran. And they said he would pick it up quickly. He can process quickly.
Yeah, that was one of the most impressive things for me, Ken, going back to the preseason was, this offense isn't necessarily easy to pick up. There's, and I remember he was asked a question in the middle of the preseason, just, how much time in your playing career have you dealt with having 2 plays right in the huddle? And that's a lot of what the Bears do. Checks at the line of scrimmage, 2 plays almost on every single play. And he's like, yeah, I've never done that before, but I'm picking it up. And it seemed like even like in the preseason, he was able to handle that. And now we're seeing that in the regular season too. So obviously you brought up the intangibles, like from just a quarterback smarts, being able to operate an offense standpoint. That's what I've been really, really impressed with so far.
Oh, absolutely. When I talked to him during preseason and then, towards the end of preseason, And it just said it's a lot, a lot to digest, but he was studying every night. He was going through, I mean, you heard the stories. He'd be out on the field and doing little things to try to go out there and practice and simulate so that when he went out there, he didn't have to think. He could just play full speed. And that's kind of how his approach is to the game. He's constantly studying. I mean, even after that win, his first win, he was very even keel when I talked to him, and he had to go in there and he had to just keep working at it.
So one of the things I think to appreciate about him is he's fearless. Clearly, like this, it doesn't seem like the moment's been too big for him. He's not afraid to rip it. Now, the line between being fearless and reckless sometimes can be blurred, and you gotta kind of straddle that line when you're playing quarterback, right? So, what would your advice be to him right now as you're coaching him up to avoid some of the interceptions like he threw yesterday, especially late?
Yeah, I would say just, you gotta, there's that fine line. You gotta trust it, feel it, and then, like you said, rip it, let it go. And then, where it goes, it goes. But I think sometimes when he was really trying to push the ball down the field, there was just a little too tight. The defender had the leverage, something he should have seen and not made that throw. And then obviously, you gotta protect the football in the pocket. You can't lose the ball and have fumbles. But overall, I would say just, you got to keep playing, but you got to watch the tape, learn from your mistakes, and then just keep kind of pushing and going through, your reads and your processing.
The arm strength part of this, Ken, and a lot of people are looking at that. His arm is not strong enough to be a bona fide NFL starter. Do you think he's got to work around that? What do you see?
No, I think he's got a strong arm. I mean, does he have like a Josh Allen or does he have a Patrick Mahomes kind of arm? No, but he's got a well above arm to make throws on the field, to be able to push the ball downfield, tempo and timing. His game is going to be more like get back and you can see the timing where he gets it off and he gets it out quick. And he's been accurate, very accurate. And that was seen, for 150 something touchdown passes in college. Even though you might say, well, the competition that he was playing against, I mean, that kid threw a lot of like tight window throws. So it doesn't really, to me, matter what the competition was like. So I think he's more, you look at every quarterback's got their strengths and weaknesses. I think he's got a strong arm. Does he have an elite arm? No, but I don't think that's what he needs in this offense to be, successful. I think that can get you out of trouble sometimes, but it also can get you in trouble.
Ken, I know you don't want to make it about you. I mean, you've had guys do well before that you've coached, but when you coach a guy who's, D2, he's undrafted, and then, 6 weeks into his rookie season, he's already starting and he won his first start. Is there a sense of pride that you get from having worked with him and seeing him develop so quickly?
Absolutely. It's funny, like 2001, I actually got a chance to go into camp and with the Bears and wear that same number, go through that whole preseason process. So when you see a guy kind of like follow kind of in your similar steps, because I took a long road to get there, I didn't make it, but it's kind of a neat thing to see and really root for him. So you obviously are always rooting for the underdog, and to see how far he's come, to see the odds that he beat, yeah, especially proud of all the hard work that you put in during that whole draft process, the amount of hours that people don't see that you put in the classroom, on the field, and all the different things that we do.
We've all come to this kind of conclusion or realization about his ability to play at this level, over the course of his time with the Bears. Hoge just mentioned going back to preseason and how he's performing well then, and then obviously gets his chance to start here. Do you remember the moment where you kind of realized, hey, this kid has got something here. He could actually go on to the next level and perform well?
Yeah, I do. It kind of reminds me of like people were talking about like Gardner Minshew. I trained him for the draft, and people were saying, oh, he's a little undersized. He doesn't have a super strong arm. He's but you start training a guy and you go, man, this guy is like extremely accurate. I know we're not practicing with a rush, but he's so consistent throwing the ball. The ball never hits the ground when we're practicing, when we're going full speed out there, receivers, just fast tempo. You get him in the classroom and he's just like, he can just really like decipher certain things quickly and how he like translates it. And you knew like he was going to do well. So like when I watched him, I just said, man, this guy's got he's got the size, he's got the arm, he's got he's just a very accurate thrower. And all those other things are going to fall in line if he gets the opportunity.
So I don't want to overstate your, knowledge of this market, but like we just talked about, like you were here briefly. There's certain markets in the NFL where the quarterback position carries more pressure, bigger markets where they're starving for quarterback play like this one. And so if there's any downside to Tyson Bagent being thrown into the fire like he has been, it's like everybody wants instant gratification here. So you probably have a better sense than anybody of like what this kid was 7, 8, 9 months ago, what he maybe can be going forward, and an understanding of like this guy, even though he's thrown a ton of passes in his life, still needs more experience in the NFL. But just like based on what you've seen through 3 starts, how would you evaluate what he's done and what he could still be in the NFL, even if that's not necessarily like the savior of the Chicago Bears franchise at quarterback?
Right. I mean, I think he's done some really good things. He's made some throws that you go, that's a starter making those throws. I mean, it's those abilities to roll out to your left and then put it over a defender into a tight space where he can tiptoe the line, where he's throwing that one where he kind of rolled left and then threw back right. That was impressive for the touchdown. But I think, there's starter ability there. He's just got, like we said, he's got to cut down on the interceptions, and it's a learning curve. I mean, a lot of guys get a longer leash and other guys get shorter leashes. So unfortunately, when you're a undrafted free agent, and you win, people are waiting for you to fall off the mountain. But he's got to just kind of keep plugging. And I know he's like, he's staying focused. That guy will keep going out there, preparing. And I do think that, it's going to be a tough first year, but I do think he can do the things that equate to being a starter.
Ken, can you take us back to January? You started working with him, I think, like right a few weeks before the Senior Bowl, maybe. He goes to the Senior Bowl. He got an opportunity to work with some of the Bears coaches there, and most notably Luke Getsy. Just what was that experience like for him? How do you think that helped him? If you could just reflect back on that time period and maybe like what the Senior Bowl benefited, anything that you maybe picked up on with anything with Luke Getsy or anything like that.
Yeah, I didn't pick up anything in terms of who would be like most, who liked him, because I would ask the question, but he didn't really say, that, and I know this every year. I've had the opportunity to have like 9 or 10 Senior Bowl quarterbacks that I've trained and been able to go and travel there. And I always ask the quarterbacks who's showing you the most love, or who's giving you like, the most attention. And a lot of those guys just say, they keep a good poker face, these coaches. But I would say that Tyson going to the Senior Bowl, he felt like he belonged. I mean, I remember the second day he was like, I belong here. I can make the throws with these guys. He felt like he was one of the best there. No matter who, somebody else was getting the accolades or getting the most attention, he was showing that he could play fast and he could play with the speed on the other side of the ball. So I think it was a huge step for him to get that opportunity to play at the Senior Bowl, because it made him more comfortable that he said, I belong, I can play here.
Ken, it's not apples to apples here, but you were in college. I'm looking back over your career. You're at Maryland. They have a coaching change. You end up transferring because you wanted to play in a system your senior year at Rhode Island. Yeah. Coaching's obviously a huge part of this. Like, what are you seeing as far as the Bears put both Bagent and even throw Justin in there in like the best position to win? Like, how important, like, especially for a guy like Tyson, that he has the right system to do it for him to be successful?
Yeah, I mean, I think like he's a quarterback that, plays up tempo, get the ball out fast. You can see he plays with a sense of urgency. You can see he drops back, gets the ball out. He's just accurate. I mean, when they throw those out routes or they're throwing those quick, crossing routes, that's kind of I think that's his strong points. Sitting back there and waiting and pushing the ball down the field. I think he can do that, but I think where he's better is getting him out, using his athletic ability a little bit, putting him on the edge, but also those kind of quick fire throws, get him out. We call them like bang eights or glance routes, certain things that he can get rid of the football fast and let the playmakers make the plays.
All right, Ken, let's get to it, man. Are we talking about a starter in this league? Are we talking about a backup who can be a spot starter or a journeyman? Or are we talking about a guy who could bring legitimate stability as a starter to an NFL franchise?
Well, obviously, I mean, I'm going
It's
to
on
be
you.
biased.
It's all up to you right now. No.
Okay. Yeah. No, I feel like he could be a starter. I feel like that's there. That's in him. Those intangibles. I mean, you got to just kind of ride the wave with him a little bit. And I know, it's tough to do that in an NFL franchise. You don't want to, back then when like Peyton Manning was playing, he could throw 20 something interceptions and you can kind of like say, and I'm not comparing him to Peyton Manning, but I'm saying is, like that leash I was talking about. But I do think he's got the abilities to start, definitely the mind to do it. And I just think, he's got to make the mistakes. He's got to go in there and he's got to learn, and they're going to learn about what his strengths and what his weaknesses are as well.
We were
And the
playing
only way to do that is, I'm sorry, the only way to do that is in live bullets.
That was my fault. Right. Exactly. I think everyone agrees, right? He's got to play. And so does Justin, which he's probably coming back here and starting on Thursday. We'll find out today. But regardless of all that, you mentioned Gardner Minshew, and we were doing the comp game yesterday. Like, who is he? Is he a poor man's Derek Carr? Is he a this? And I think Minshew is an interesting comp because when I see Gardner, when he's set up, I mean, the ball is accurate. It's there, and he seems like he knows what he wants to do. But when he's on the move, he'll take some risks, and it can get a little wonky. I don't know how much like Bagent to Minshew, if that comparison rings true for you.
Yeah, a little bit. I think they're both like competitor. I mean, Gardner is ultimate competitor. I mean, you can see he's a fiery guy. He's out there. I mean, he is a competitive guy. Tyson is extremely competitive as well. I mean, you got to be it in the NFL, but those two guys, I mean, I think it's a decent comparison, between the two. They both have that good enough, they're athletic. They're not like in that upper echelon kind of athleticism, but they're very athletic, the both of them. They can get you out of trouble, great feet, and quick releases, can get rid of the ball fast and make throws, different angles. That's the game within a dirty pocket, not having everything so clean all the time. I think they both can do that.
This doesn't necessarily have to be about like Tyson versus Justin, but like it's obvious to everybody, and you train Tyson, one of his strengths is getting rid of the ball, like you were just talking about. Like, he'll get that ball out. And look, Justin Fields has attributes that 99.9% of quarterbacks in the world don't have. But one of his weaknesses seems to be holding onto the ball too long. Basically, that thing that Tyson does really well. In your experience training quarterbacks, working with quarterbacks, is that something you can speed up over time, or is that just something that instinctually you get or you don't?
No, I think you can. I think over time, practicing, obviously you have to tweak the offense a little bit and find out where maybe that quarterback's holding on to it or he's not seeing it clear enough to get rid of the football and anticipating it. And sometimes when you have a super strong arm, you want to wait on it. You got away with it in college because he's still young. I mean, he's only into his couple years, or he's only a couple years into the league. He may rely too much on that arm strength and just seeing it click late and trying to fit it in there using his arm strength. So I think it's something that the coordinator works with. They try to work with film study and then just repetitions over and over again. But I do think it's something that you can change.
I don't want to put you in a tough spot because obviously you train Tyson, but like Justin Fields is one of the biggest names in the league. How would you handle him if you were coaching him up right now based on what you've seen? He's obviously incredibly talented, but there's something that's just not quite totally clicking.
Yeah, see, for quarterback coaches, for like me, my biggest thing is like I work on a lot of things that are like science driven. So it's like when I got Tyson, like I go and I take a quarterback and I work on all his inefficiencies. So like if I see something where his back leg's popping up, I know that he's losing energy. I look at his left side as a right-handed thrower. Is he swinging his arm out, which is all called like vector training. So like if he's throwing and his body's going one way and he's going away from the target, then we have to hone in on those things. So we do a lot of like weighted ball training, a lot of bands, a lot of different things that you don't really see with quarterback training. Like, yes, we do the cone drills, and yes, we see that run-of-the-mill kind of guys doing, drops and stepping over things and all that. I mean, you do that stuff, but we're really honed in on kind of 3D motion analysis. We're looking at different inefficiencies of the quarterback, but then we get into the mental side and we try to talk through a lot of the things were the quarterback. So I would say, like, if you're training a quarterback, you're trying to get into the film study wise, and you're trying to understand the concept of if you're diving in deeper, and then you're trying to understand what the coach wants, what kind of rhythm, how quick does he want the ball out, timing, what's the whole read, what's the concept. That's what you're trying to help the quarterback just kind of talk it out and talk through it.
Do you believe that you played the position, do you believe that you can have a 2-quarterback system that works? I mean, New Orleans has been kind of doing it for a while with, in a way. But I mean, in terms of guys like Tyson and Justin, could you create a system that works where both of those guys could help you win a football game on any given week?
No, I don't think so. I feel like you got to have rhythm, and it's like now these guys are all alpha males. They want to start, they want to play. So I think when you go in and you start playing, 2 guys in a 2-quarterback system, you don't have a quarterback. So you got to stick with one guy. I think it's so critical because it's all timing based and it's all about that chemistry. And, a guy can never find that kind of rhythm. So I think you got to just stick with a guy and go with it.
You have any quarterbacks lined up for this coming class, or any favorites yet?
Working on it. Working on a couple of recruiting. So we'll see what happens.
All right, sounds good. Ken, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. Great insight on Tyson, and I hope you're enjoying the ride here watching him, because it's been an incredible story, and obviously you made a difference with him in some way, training him for sure over those months leading into the draft. So appreciate you jumping on.
Thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you. Thanks.
Thanks, Ken.
And you should be following him also at Mastrole Passing. He runs the Mastrole Passing Academy. And trains quarterbacks, does a great job. So
that was good stuff. Good insight.
Yeah, really good insight there. I'm glad we had him on. I have a couple thoughts on first Tyson and then Justin that I've been thinking about all morning. I got to get them off my chest.
That's great.
We got to get there.
What's been bothering you?
I'm looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to what you're about to tell us. And I got breaking news, though.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh, who is it?
Albert Ramon TV, the Weathermaker, the Rainmaker, has followed me on Twitter. I just followed him back. We are honing in on Albert Ramon. Is going to be on this program, talking weather, talking football. Let's go home.
Is he going to be our weather guy in this show?
I think I'm going to try.
The Rainmaker?
The Rainmaker is going to be the official Rainmaker.
Is that something we need? Do we need that? Is that something we want?
Yes, it's going to get
the weather's turning here in Chicago. I mean, we got a few more dome games. Got a couple more dome games left. We got to go to Green Bay.
I need
Cleveland.
to know what the exact wind direction and speed is Saturday at 2:00. That's what I need to know.
Want to make you the official weatherman of CHGO. Are you in?
If you missed our post-game show, you have no idea what we're talking about.
Zero idea. Even if you watch
as usual, when Carm just jumps in with something random. But there was.
How could you miss the post-game show? You should have been here.
We had a good time for sure.
Albert Ramon, the ad that the promo, I should call it, that they were running on CBS 2 during the game yesterday, it made us giggle. And we like to giggle on the show if you haven't noticed. We also like to thank our sponsors, including Empire Today. You want to check out Empire Today? They get things done the right way. Not always the cheapest way, the right way. And they got a great deal for you as well. With Empire Today, you get shop-at-home convenience, the right product for your needs, quick and professional installation, and a low price guarantee. Empire Today is the best place to get new flooring, and they have copycats out there, of course, but those copycats cannot beat Empire when it comes to quality, service, speed. Those copycats advertise low-quality products they simply will not carry at Empire. Empire won't promise the lowest prices because anyone who does that is putting flooring in your home that they wouldn't put in their own. So keep that in mind. Empire is going to take care of you with their virtual floor designer. It's a great way to see how new floors will look in any space. It's easy. Just snap a picture, instantly see how new floors will look in your room. Shopping for floors at a big box store can be frustrating. You might talk to someone today who was working in plumbing yesterday. Flooring is all Empire Today does. They live and breathe flooring, so you can be confident you're getting honest, upfront advice. Schedule a free in-home estimate today. All listeners can receive a $350 off discount when they use promo code CHGO. You guessed it right. CHGO is your code there. Restrictions apply. SeeEmpireToday.com/CHGO for details.
I got to be honest. Do that.
300 Empire.
Boom.
Today.
Is that still the phone number? I hope so.
It is. That thing about the big box stores, I can't stand going to like my local Lowe's or Menards or whatever, and it's like, first of all, there's like no one there, even though it's this giant store, and you're trying to find something among a billion aisles of everything in the world. It's like no one knows anything if you do find someone.
Flooring is hard because flooring can look completely different in your
two different
house.
rooms. Yeah.
In 2 different rooms in your house. Yeah. I mean, we refinished our floors last year. We had like 18 different samples. It was crazy. I wish we had Empire at that point.
And I've been to Studio Hoge. It looks nice.
I just like the concept of Lawrence in the wild, just at stores and unsatisfied and causing trouble.
Cranky.
That's me, looking around aimlessly where the hell are the whatever?
Does anybody know what's going on around here? All right. I'm very excited about one of our newest partners, Midtown Athletic Club. I've been going to Midtown off and on my entire life, and now they're a part of CHGO, which is sweet. They've got 4 Chicagoland locations. People don't necessarily know that. They're in Palatine, they're in Bannockburn, they're in Willowbrook, and they're in the city in the middle of Bucktown and Lincoln Park right there at Fullerton and Elston.
Yep.
That's right? Yeah. It's just an unbelievable facility. Seriously, like the pool, the tennis courts, all the other things, the hoop court, everything's amazing.
And thank God they fixed
Didn't they
that
just
corner.
redo that one? That's the one right across the street from that Ford dealership, right?
It's amazing over there.
There's a hotel there.
It's a scene, by the way, the pool.
That used to be arguably the worst intersection in all of Chicago.
And they fixed it.
How they swung it around on their curve like that?
Although they did the Vienna Beef factory is no longer there, which is depressing.
Where do they
Kicking a
make
hot dog
Vienna
there.
Beef hot dogs now?
Down in Pilsen, I think.
Okay, as long as it's still in Chicago.
Yeah. We're cool.
By the way, I've also played tennis at the Midtown Palatine, where they just launched a multi-million-dollar transformation of the club, which will be complete in early 2024. The place was sweet beforehand, but
You've never been in Palatine. What are you talking about?
I have tennis will travel. I've been to Midtown Palatine. I don't say anything on this show that ain't true. So. You may disagree with it, Herb Howard, but that's fine. And I will sit on. I hope I see Tyson Bagent at Midtown doing one of his cool workouts that he does on Tuesdays when he's not the starting quarterback, which he's going to get back to doing, and bring out 4 or 5 assistants with him and have computer chips in the football to see how fast he's throwing it. Shout out to Brad Biggs. Good job by Biggsy getting some behind the scenes stuff in his piece today. Hey. Midtown is an ultra premium brand. This is not the $10 place. This is you are making a great investment in yourself and your health and your enjoyment of life. It's one of the nicest places that you can go. So I highly recommend it. I feel like Ferris Bueller. If you have the means, or whatever he says when he's taking out the nice car. Hey, cool club features all over the place. Get yourself you can hang out in the locker room all day long. Honestly, it's and all the other things as far as not in the locker room: yoga, boxing, spin, cross training, group exercise. Tennis courts are sweet. Head over to midtown.com/CHGO. Midtown.com/CHGO to tour the Midtown Athletic Club nearest you. Just do that right now. Just go check it out. Midtown.com/CHGO. Click on it. Take a little peek around, and go give yourself a tour. Take a steam. Head on out. Decide if you want to become a member.
By the way, we have crazy breaking news. I think the Cubs are hiring Craig Counsell and firing David Ross.
Are you serious?
That's what Rosenthal just tweeted that. I don't know.
Are you for real?
Well, there was a
Wait a minute.
cryptic tweet.
I saw Rosenthal tweet that Craig Counsell is going to be managing a different team.
Right.
Who said Cubs?
Well, now Rosenthal.
Are you sure it's the real Ken Rosenthal?
Yeah. This is not a brag situation.
You're sure?
I mean,
that is
Cubs hiring Craig Counsell. Sources tell holy crap.
Where are our Cubs guys?
They're here.
Our Cubs guys are right here.
I'm guessing they might be mobilizing.
I would expect there to be an emergency Cubs podcast in a few minutes here. That's
wow.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, we will if we need to.
I'll do Craig Counsell talk right now. Great job.
That's
Cubs.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
It's could be happening. But good time.
I like Rossi, but that's crazy.
In the division.
Well,
stick it Milwaukee.
Okay, look, I'm
90 miles south.
I'm Cubs idiot here. Did they have a manager problem?
Yes.
Yes, they did. They imploded down the stretch. And problem is too strong of a word. Do they have an elite manager? I think the answer to that was no. Wow. But that is a stunner, man. That's World Series champion, hero, never given an opportunity to do much with the roster.
Why couldn't my team do that?
Collapse down the stretch.
Hey, you got Pedro Grifol.
You've got
who?
You've got Matt Eberflus.
I do. I have the Matt Eberflus of managers.
I feel like they're punishing him for doing a good job. Like if you'd asked them in like April if they, you got a chance the last week of the season, they would have signed up for that for sure. Nobody expected them to have a chance last week of the season. They get a chance last week of the season. They don't come through. Right. Now that's his fault. Who got them in position to be able to do that? They sucked in April.
Yeah, but
they were sucking right before the trade deadline. Like, are we buyers or are we sellers? They go on like a little streak, and then they put themselves in position to make the postseason. They don't, and that's his fault.
No, yeah, but there's always
anybody see that? Is he coming out of the bullpen?
Yeah, but
there's been a lot of questionable moves throughout the year.
Wow.
His lineup was wonky.
Sticking with Mancini and the whatever. Anyways, this is a Bears show. Let's talk Bears. I'm sorry, I shouldn't bring that up.
Sometimes,
I think you did a good job.
Sometimes there's Chicago news that's crazy. So we will have.
We'll get those guys.
Even if we're not going to, I'm making that call right now. We're going to.
It's a nice job by the Cubs taking some pressure off of Tyson Bagent, Justin Fields, Matt Eberflus, Ryan Poles of the Chicago Bears.
Wow.
Rossi, you were great. We'll always remember 2016.
You think George McCaskey just called over and was like, hey, you guys dropped this news. We got Flus's presser coming up here in a couple minutes. Hey, Rosenthal, can you please break this?
I mean, it's wild.
It's a good job.
I knew there was going to be a tough conversation at some point in that franchise, but wow. Okay.
That is crazy. All right. So right here on our CHGO YouTube channel, as soon as those guys can mobilize, and I'm looking at them right now, so they're coming.
All right. I got to be honest.
Meanwhile,
my
quarterback thoughts.
Oh, here we go.
Tyson Bagent is a Division II undrafted quarterback who has played at minimum solid for 3 starts.
No doubt.
While the starting quarterback's been out. What if you're somebody who a few weeks ago was tossing Justin Fields out of town because of one bad start where he got hurt after he threw 8 touchdowns and 1 interception his previous 2 starts, and now you're doing that to Tyson Bagent after 3 starts. Like, this is the problem with this town. We just cannot wait to vilify the next quarterback. The next one, maybe this will be the guy. So excited to see him. And then even if he doesn't play poorly, enough of that guy. Enough of him now. Like, what are we doing here? Why can't the guy just be like, okay, for an undrafted quarterback out of Division II, this is a solid beginning. And yes, I want to see Justin Fields play on Thursday. And I hope he does. And then whenever the next time we see Tyson Bagent, which maybe it's not even until next year, maybe 2 years from now, maybe the Bears have something there that they're developing behind the scenes. Why can't that just be what it is? Why does it have to be, we're done with Tyson Bagent, no more Tyson Bagent, this guy stinks? Like, what?
I think it's PTSD, man. I think like just the history of quarterbacking in Chicago has led the fan base to believe the guy under center is not the guy who should be under center. Doesn't matter who it is. Doesn't matter what we thought about him last week. The minute he goes south, we think he's going to continue to go that way because that's been the history of the position for this franchise. And so the fans just believe that, and it's hard to believe anything else when you haven't seen anything.
Well, and they're doing it right now in the comments already. You just had a 25-minute Bagent promo. No, we didn't. We had a breakdown from a guy who knows him of the quarterback who started the game yesterday. And this is a Monday Bear show, so we break down the game that happened yesterday. That's how this works. Nobody sat there for 25 minutes saying that this guy should be playing over Justin Fields. Why do you do that?
We didn't.
Why? I don't understand it. Why is it everything that gets talked about has to be viewed as someone's making some grand statement over the future of the franchise? Right. No, we do a daily show here. We have a lot of programming to fill, and I think we do a pretty damn good job of looking at it from every possible angle we possibly can.
I think on a Bears Monday, you have to talk about the Bears starting quarterback from Sunday, I think.
Well, and also, look, Ken was booked for last week, got sick, got healthy. We booked him out on Monday. We didn't know how the game was going to go on Sunday. We didn't know that Justin was going to practice on Friday. So and I thought that Ken was super interesting. Aside from all that, look, I was driving home last night, and I have, I had to do my Sunday night thing. I have dinner by myself, and I look around and I think about my life, and then I'm driving home. I'm like, you know what? And I hate to do this to myself because I'm a part of this, but I honestly think that on some level, because when you get in a situation where you haven't won a Super Bowl since 1985, the pressure on that organization gets to be greater, and the fan base gets that much more just tossing and turning and ancient up. And I do think there is an element to being the Bears coach, to being the Bears quarterback, to being the Bears GM, that the degree of difficulty, because it's been a while, is now getting larger. It's what the Cubs had to tackle too. And you had to bring in a guy like Joe Madden, who had all sorts of philosophies about this doesn't matter and that doesn't matter, and play free and back to like I think the Bears need someone like that who can sort of see the forest through the trees type of thing, with the quarterback, with the offense, with the system they're putting in through the fan base, because the fan base, and we love you, y'all are nuts every single day. I mean, it is not, there's no real rational conversation that's possible. People are emotional.
And don't you bring ration into it either. Yeah. Don't you bring rationality
and so they have to navigate that. And that is a thing that I think really actually needs to be considered. Like if I'm Kevin Warren, I would be paying attention to that.
Well, and that brings me to the other quarterback, number one.
Right?
Justin Fields.
That's been crazy too, of course.
Again, happening right now in the comments, as usual. And I shouldn't base things off the comments. I know better than that. But
it's very Braggs and Karma of you.
I know. But it goes beyond that. Like, just because anybody's been talking or covering the quarterback who's been playing the last 3 weeks, it's viewed as some type of indictment on Justin. And if you are somebody who says Justin Fields sucks, you don't know what you're talking about. He is not an awful quarterback.
No.
He might not be the quarterback that everyone thought he could be. He might not end up being an all-pro. He might not end up being the future savior of this franchise. But he does not suck. That is part of the problem with the discourse when we talk about quarterbacks in this town. Justin Fields is probably the best quarterback I've covered. Now, that's not saying much. The bar's pretty low. I think the only one I can debate there is maybe Cutler.
That's it.
I'll give you Justin all day over Cutler. I hate Cutler. That's personal.
So why do we have to rush to judgment? There is still 8 more games here. And I have news for you. The best thing for this franchise is not for them to end up with the number 1 pick and draft another rookie who may or may not be good. And maybe Caleb Williams is that guy. No idea. You guys know better. You've seen this in this town. You've seen quarterback after quarterback after quarterback come in this town and suck. So you want to go down that road like it's a for sure thing? Fine. But the best thing for this franchise is that Justin Fields shows in the next 8 games that he's the guy that should be quarterback. And then you can take those 2 picks you have in the top 5 or wherever they are, draft Marvin Harrison Jr. and the tackle from Penn State and get more help around him. That's the best thing for this franchise going forward. I'm not saying that's how it's going to play out, but if I had to pick the best thing, that would be it. Because I like Caleb Williams. I like other quarterbacks too, but they're just not a for sure thing as much as people want to paint them out to be, especially when they come to this town and this franchise.
There's no such thing as the sure thing. We've seen it far too frequently in the NFL draft. There's no such thing as a sure thing, right? So we've seen, overall picks become bust. We've seen the 199th pick become the greatest of all time, and everything in between. So there's no surefire lock. If you got a guy that's got talent, it's on you to figure out how to best use that talent and surround him with other talent to get the best out of him. I think they have a guy that they should be able to do that with. Whether or not they do that is not a sole indictment on him.
I don't 1,000% agree with what you just said, but it certainly would be a great thing if Justin played well. Like, if the Texans had the number 1 pick this year, would they have taken Bryce Young, and then CJ would have gone to pick Carolina? I don't know what they would have done, but that to me is on the table. Like, and they just, okay, well, he's gone, so I'm going to take this guy, and it just worked out because it is an inexact science, which is one of the reasons, by the way, that I've been able to sit here and say, like, we don't know what Bagent is because they get this stuff wrong all the time. Late-round guys end up being quality players in the league. The greatest quarterback of all time was taken 199. I understand that's a very rare circumstance, but they're down there all the time.
Yeah, but number 2 in passing right now in the league was the last pick in the draft.
Right.
Like there are other examples. And I'll add to what I just said about best case scenario. Part of that's Bagent, too.
Sure.
Fields proves he's a starter, and you have Bagent, who's a pretty good backup. That's not the worst thing ever.
No, and it's on the table because who knows what's going to happen. A lot of competition for that last pick or the first overall pick with the Giants and the Cardinals and the Panthers and whoever else is down there right now that's slipping my mind.
Hoge Broilicious is saying, do not gaslight the Bears fans. Says, don't chastise Bears fans for having trauma response to this franchise. Your content is what it is. Our response isn't just related directly to it.
Thank you, Bro Delicious. And $5 from Joshua Creek, because we live in a microwave society. We want results now. Which, by the way, yes, right. Hoge's request is unreasonable in today's society. I have 3 seconds to entertain you, or else you're going somewhere else on your TikTok, on your scroll. The last thing we're doing is waiting rationally.
Like 1.8 seconds.
1.8 seconds? Okay, right. To rationally watch a quarterback develop through 2 coaching staffs and multiple systems and see if he can figure it out. I get it. Believe me. I got it.
We don't have the ability to, put things in its proper context or even comprehend a message that is being given, and we get excited about these things. And I told y'all on the postgame show yesterday that I foolishly found myself getting too engaged in Bears Twitter after the Montez Sweat. And I was like, the kid played with a lot of good talent on that Washington Commanders line that is not here. And they're like, you don't like him. I was like, I didn't say shit about him. I just said that he played with 3 other, Pro Bowl caliber players, and those guys are not here. And it was like,
Old Man Gaming TV 1975 $10 super chat. Bagent runs Getsy's offense better. Fields is a better player, higher ceiling. If we keep Getsy, then develop Bagent as Drake's backup, as in Drake May. We don't keep Getsy, then if we don't keep Getsy, then get Fields back out.
That's an interesting Old Man Gaming TV 1975.
I'm just thinking about Atari personally because that's right up my alley there.
I mean, it's not that interesting because it's the age-old question: is it the quarterback? Is it the coaching staff? But I do think, as far as Justin Fields getting unlocked here in the last 8 games to really be able to make a very clear decision, I mean, can the coaching staff unlock him? Are they able to do it? That's a big part of it. What does Luke Getsy learn in this 3-week of Tyson Bagent starting in ways that perhaps he can look in the mirror and think that I could put Justin Fields in a better position to win football games? Does he do that? I don't know. Getsy seems very confident in himself.
You have to be, and all coaches are a little arrogant. You get coaches on a whiteboard, and we all get up there and oh, my scheme is better than your scheme, and I can coach. There's a little bit of arrogance in every single football coach. It's kind of the nature of the job, but you still have to have a little bit of flexibility, a little bit enough to say, hey, maybe there's another way to go about this. Maybe we can win a football game a different way. And if you don't have that ability, that's where the problem comes.
Who's got the biggest ego on the Carmel coaching staff? Go ahead. No one's watching. You can say it.
I don't think he's listening. It's too bad he was not. That was a good question. You didn't hear it at all. Did he hear it?
I think he heard it. He's debating whether it's him or.
I was going to say, there's a 0% chance I'm answering that question.
Okay.
I was trying to think of something funny to say, and nothing came.
Fine, it's J-Mac.
It was Olin. Let's be honest.
Do y'all do Sunday night coaches meetings? Do y'all do them on Sundays?
Sometimes.
Oh man, we used to fight all the time, every Sunday night.
No,
be in that meeting, just fighting for hours about scheme and personnel, and good times. Yeah. Sometimes you come out of there and you're like, guys need a day or 2 away from each other. You're ready to fight.
Our head coach also happens to be the phenomenal sideline reporter now on the radio, so he's busy on Sundays too with these Bears games that we're all subjected to watch.
All right.
I'm fired up for Thursday. Let's go.
We've got a super chat coming in from Sean Oldenburg. Sean, appreciate you. He says, the fact that 12 Velus Jones is still on the roster is why this coaching staff will be fired.
That whole part of the thing is look, who cares at this point? It's on the roster the rest of the way. Seriously, who are they picking up? Who cares? They're 2-7. I mean, by the way, using him in weird spots like yesterday when Bagent throws a bomb to DJ Moore. DJ, maybe he's a little gassed after the play, even though he did not get the top speed on that. We talked about that on the postgame show. But huge third down after that play. Yeah. DJ Moore's off the field.
Yeah.
Valus is on the field.
Yeah.
I'd rather have Herb Howard on the field.
I don't know about that, but your point is well made.
Yeah. So that's not great.
No,
and that's weird to me. Call timeout. He's your best player. It's a huge third down. You're down 1 score. What are you doing?
Well, and they're also running a play to the outside where DJ Moore is blocking for Valus.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Can we reverse that,
Right.
please? Can we put the
This is your best player. That's like saying, Mike, set a screen for Elston Turner. Nobody gets that reference. Mike, set a screen for Steve Kerr. Go set a screen for Craig Hodges. Hey, MJ, set a screen for Will Purdue. What are we talking?
I do have some good news though. It sucks that Carter Blasting game, has a concussion. That's gonna be tough to turn around by Thursday and play. And losing your fullback isn't
no way
good.
he can do that.
But they do have a backup fullback named Tyler Scott.
They do have a backup fullback named Tyler Scott that they lined up in the backfield to do that. And I just don't understand. There's just some things that they draw up, and I don't know what's supposed to happen, and I don't know how close they are to being, explosives or not. But it just doesn't make sense. I saw 13 in the backfield. I'm like, we were all like, what the hell is that? Like,
it's you're looking for that one play where you're like, oh, that's cool. I've never seen that before. That worked. But with the Bears, it's always
never that.
That shouldn't be how it is.
No.
Right? Like anytime they try something different and cute, it never works.
Who was it? The Chargers that ran the flea flicker tight end screen? That was cool. That's something I've never seen, and that was cool. But the Bears do stuff that I've never seen and is not cool at all. We all saw somebody lined up in the backfield, and I'm pretty sure we all saw that it said 13, and we were still like, who is lined up in the backfield right there? Because I know that's not Tyler Scott. Can't be. Can't be your 170-pound rookie as your lead blocker.
Tyson Bagent blocking on
and
one
then
play?
they get Tyson Bagent on the reverse for Tyler Scott, and he's supposed to do what to this 270-pound DN? What is he supposed to do here?
Don't worry about that. You got Peterman as a backup. He's ready to go. Just throw yourself in there, 17. We don't want to. Come on, Luke. You're better than that.
Meanwhile,
he is, and we've seen him be better than that. But then sometimes he just throws these things in there. It's like, why did we do that?
here's my conclusion over the last 3 weeks. I think the Bears have an exciting prospect to develop, which is something I have sat on this show, my other show, whatever show for years, and said, why do the Bears never draft a young quarterback to develop behind the scenes? And this one they didn't even draft. They ended up signing him as a free agent, but they got one now. So just that can be what Tyson Bagent is. Right?
Yeah.
Just cool. Now, can we please see Justin Fields start again? Can we watch Justin Fields play? There's only so many more reps here as the clock is ticking on the quarterback contract. Caleb Williams looming, whatever you want, how you want to look at it. I'd like to see as many reps and as many throws as possible with Justin Fields the rest of this season. I like Justin Fields. He does not suck.
Triple H doesn't suck.
I'm with you 1,000%. And also, short week. Let's make sure the thumb is 100% before you put him out there, because one ding on that thing and you're out another 6 weeks. Like, let him.
And then you have to draft somebody.
Right. So if you feel like if you're hesitant to play him this week, if I'm the Bears, don't worry about it. Don't play him Thursday.
Give him another week and a half.
Give him another week and a half. Let him come out there. Let him do all the grip strength, whatever he's doing to get that thing ready, and then play him the rest of the way. I have no problem with that whatsoever.
I don't have any problem with that, and I think that the Bears, with Tyson Bagent, can beat the Carolina Panthers. And then you're sitting there, you're looking at this kid, this undrafted rookie from D2 that's gotten you a 2-2 record through 4 games without your starter. And that's all you can ask for from any backup, in my opinion, right? To ask your backup to come in and go 4-0 or 3-1 is quite ambitious, but you do want a guy who can come in and get you 2-2 in a 4-game stretch, and Tyson has a chance to do that. Now, was the offense very ineffective against the Chargers? Yeah, they put up those 13 points. That wasn't good. He had 4 turnovers yesterday against the Saints. That's not good, but we've seen him do some things that you can work with and you can win with, as we saw him do versus the Raiders, and he could potentially do Thursday at home against the Carolina.
I mean, if you
Panthers.
compare how many dropbacks, how many were good versus how many were bad, it's obviously way more good than bad. But the bad's got to go away.
Still hoping to hear from Flus. He's now 20 minutes late for his scheduled press conference. This is a short week, though, so that's not terribly surprising. But hoping to maybe get some quarterback news here before we get out of here. In the meantime, CHGO is supported by Goose Island Beer Company. Chicago's beer since 1988. Got the Oktoberfest, Beer Hug family, 312 Wheat Ale, and what Herb is holding over here, the Full Pocket Pills. That's the everyday beer, what the Goose Island Brewers are drinking. Not the Milwaukee Brewers.
Sucks for you.
They're not drinking anything right now up there.
We see you, Duke. Missed you yesterday, Duke.
Non-Goose Island beer
And their
non-manager, who's now the manager of the Cubs. You can grab ultra-fresh brewery-exclusive beers at Goose Island's original brew house on Clybourne Avenue in Lincoln Park or from their tap room on Fulton Street in Westtown. Goose Island Beer Company, Chicago's beer.
Man, that is some serious professional sports. Not a whole lot of loyalty in this world. All right. Who are the pretenders? Who are
What are you talking about? Southside's got all the loyalty in the world.
You guys do.
We are loyal.
White
Loyal.
White
the
Sox.
L stands for losing.
White Sox, go. What?
You can have your loyalty.
Let's go, White Sox. Can't wait for the pod today. Hey, we're more than halfway through the NFL season. DraftKings Sportsbook still pumping out the unbeatable offers every single game. New customers bet just $5 on anything, and you get $200 instantly in bonus bets. DraftKings does not stop there. All customers can take advantage of a sweetener offer every game day, including this Thursday when the Bears take on those Panthers at Soldier Field. Listen, get on the football action as the Bears turn the season around and finish 10-7. With DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Download the app now. Use the code CHGO. New customers, bet $5 on anything. Get $200 instantly in bonus bets only on DraftKings Sportsbook with the code CHGO. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling, calling 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas. Licensee partner Golden Nugget, Lake Charles, Louisiana. 21 or over, age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/football. Terms for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms and responsible gaming resources.
I love the way you read the small print, the disclaimer at the end. That is phenomenal. But
I
you
always
cannot encourage people to gamble and give them the inkling that the Bears are about to win 10 games.
I just do the math. What's possible? I'm doing it every week. We're still at. We can still get
We're gonna keep going.
If we lose Thursday, I'm going to do it at 9.
Get to 9.
Then I'll be at 8. Then I'll be at 7. But last week was 11. Now we're at 10. Hoge predicted 10 wins. Damn it, and Hoge's going to be right.
There you go.
Ain't that right?
No. Hoge is not going to be right.
What's going
We've
on?
got
over
a
the-
super chat.
First of all, what's going on with the Cubs show? That's why people are asking. That's why.
Well, the Duke is asking for 1999. Where's the Cubs pod? Big news happening. We are going to put them in B because there's no way.
Is
you
it starting
guys-
early though?
It'll start at 1 o'clock.
Okay.
1 o'clock in our second studio.
Okay. So there will be the Cubs show happening in about 5 minutes. CHGO Cubs podcast emergency edition by about 20 minutes. So you're gonna jump on early. Huge Cubs news. Cubs hiring Craig Counsell, the Brewers manager, evidently David Ross. I mean,
They should just trade.
crazy.
They should just trade and battle it out and see who got the better of the
David
deal.
Ross goes to Milwaukee, maybe.
I mean, yeah.
So if you want to switch over, you can. If not, we're going to still be here talking Bears. I have more Bears things I absolutely have to get to from yesterday's show. I would love to know. Let me ask you this question, guys. Who has been the best Bears linebacker since the start of the 2022 season?
Jack Sanborn.
We're going back to 22.
Yep. So you include Roquan Smith in the conversation. He played 8 games, I think, last year with the Bears. Who has been the best one?
I would say Sanborn.
Okay. I would also say Jack Sanborn. So my question to you is, why is he the third linebacker? Why did
that? I'll tell you. I'll give you the answer.
What I'm getting at is there seems to be a doubt within the organization of what Jack Sanborn really is. No matter how many times he gets out there on the football field and says, I can get to the ball, I know where the ball's going to be. I may not be the fastest guy, but I'm going to make plays. I'm a football player. Yeah. And there's a team in this division called the Detroit Lions who keep drafting guys like that all over. Yeah. They don't give a shit that you don't think they should draft a running back early. They don't think they don't care that you don't want them to draft their linebacker early. They don't care. They just draft good football players, which is what Jack Sanborn is. And what the Bears did, they had Jack Sanborn. They never once put him next to Roquan Smith, okay, which I know I've talked endlessly about. They trade Roquan Smith. Sanborn takes over from that point on, looks good. They go out in the offseason, and they get 2 other players to play ahead of Jack Sanborn. They spend a lot of money.
And drafted another guy.
That's true. And drafted Noah Sewell. It's going to be a huge competition. Sewell's going to be way better than Sanborn. He's going to pass him up. Okay.
Yeah, I think that there aren't a lot of places in America where white men are at a disadvantage and they're discriminated against. But the back 7 in the National Football League is one of those places, right? And it just is what it is. People don't leave. It's like, oh, he's a white linebacker,
wide receiver, too.
So he can't.
Especially cornerbacks.
Yeah,
you're a white corner. You're not.
Has there been one since Jason Sehorn?
Did that Iowa guy get drafted last year?
Oh, that's right. He was taking the ball away.
Where's Nick? I don't know.
There was the white Iowa corner at the Senior Bowl.
Yeah. But seriously, I think that like you look at him and then you pigeonhole him to he's got to be this type of guy. You can go back in the day where you had a lot of those guys, the Bill Romanowskis and the Chris Spillmans of the world, who were just downhill, tough-nosed guys that make tackles. But now in this league where you expect to cover running backs like Alvin Kamara or match up against guys in the slot sometimes, then there's this belief for whatever reason that they can't do it, and that's not necessarily true, right? We talk about 40 times all the time. How frequently does a linebacker run 40 yards in a football game? Not very often. He's got good instincts. He reads and diagnoses plays very well, and that allows him to play faster than what his 40 time may be clocked at. And so you see him making plays in the backfield. You see him getting sideline to sideline because he's on his way there before he actually needs to be. And so I don't think his play speed is perfectly fine, but I think he absolutely gets discriminated against because he's white.
Nailed it. It is a very rare situation where the white man is not getting the benefit of the doubt or all the opportunity. But in this particular case, it's like listen, he wouldn't have gotten on the field like he did last year had they not traded Roquan.
I just remember going back to
they said no one else.
And I like Tremaine Edmonds. I never thought that they were we didn't spend a whole lot of time talking about the idea of drafting Tremaine Edmonds, even though I really like Tremaine Edmonds. Like I remember raving about Tremaine Edmonds when the Bills came to Soldier Field last year. And then, but like the idea of them signing him, it was, I guess, a possibility, but we didn't talk about it a ton. I remember having Brad Spielberg on, and even he was the same way. He's like, I don't know if that's a great fit. Because I think we're all assuming like Sanborn had won the job or won the opportunity to go. And then not only do they sign Edmonds, but they also sign TJ Edwards.
And now you pay both those guys, and Jack can't play in front of them. And I don't think that either of those guys haven't played well, by the way. I think they've been fine.
They've been fine.
You've seen Tremaine get a couple of takeaways. TJ Edwards is among the league leaders in tackles. But I don't think that Jack could not have done what they're doing.
But and the argument for Edmonds is he can cover better. And there's definitely truth to that. But is this another example of we're going height, weight, speed, traits over just a guy whose tape is good? Yeah. Well, why can't the tape just be good?
A football player.
But that's an interesting point when it comes to Sanborn. If you like what he does and you're going to make him part of your linebacker core, you do need good cover guys around him. You can't have guys who can't cover playing next to him. TJ Edwards cannot cover. That is not his game at all. He is bad in space. Which is why the Bears, by the way, have been sending him. If you watch,
was he bad in space against the Chargers?
Don't say that. Yeah, he was.
He was terrible.
So that's not his game. So now you sort of you have two of the same dudes there that are both very good tacklers, have a nose for being around the football, but they can't cover. So this is how you put this thing together. Yeah. Which I don't. If I'm Matt Eberflus, and I'm looking at this like, what's the best way to do this? You don't want to move Tremaine from the middle. That's where he plays, but maybe I don't know. I don't exactly know the best way to do this. That's somebody that's a little over my pay grade. But on a very basic level, which is my pay grade, I noticed Jack Sanborn making plays way more yesterday than I've noticed Tremaine all year. The dude was everywhere. I mean, making plays in the backfield, the whole thing. So, yeah, and I don't. This is not against Edmonds, but it's also like you had a zillion needs. And you paid that dude a lot of money.
When you had a guy who could have matched that production.
Right, and you had to pay. Now you paid Montez, which you need that guy too. you're going to have to pay the quarterback eventually. You're going to have to pay a wide receiver more than you're paying DJ Moore eventually. Like there's just
it costs to be good. So
Yeah.
the more questions you can answer without paying top dollar for, the better off you're going to be.
Which, by the way, is another thing that's great about Tyson Bagent because backup quarterbacks are expensive. He would be cheap.
Well,
he is cheap.
And I guarantee if you go back to our shows, like whenever we were on when they signed Tremaine Edmonds, it was like, I guarantee you I was exactly like this. Ooh, I like Tremaine Edmonds.
Mm-hmm.
This is interesting. But what does this mean for Jack Sanborn? Because did you really need to spend this much money when you had Sanborn? That's the question. Yeah. And now he's getting another opportunity here with Edmonds out, and he was all over the field yesterday.
Oh, for sure. And we had a rooting interest in what he was doing, so we paid a lot of attention to him every time his number was called. But he did make plays, and I think two things can be true, right? This doesn't, and we do like the same thing we talk about the quarterbacks, right? This endorsement of Jack Sanborn does not have to be an indictment on Tremaine, right? It's not. Both things can be true. It's just that you didn't give Jack the opportunity to put his production on the field, and now you've paid top dollar for it when maybe you didn't have to.
Yeah, and okay.
Good super here from Seth Crane.
Seth Crane, $10 super chat. We appreciate you. Watching Sanborn play yesterday proved to me that at the very worst, he's Nick Kwiatkowski, and at the very best, he's better than Edmonds. It's fair.
Yeah. I'm trying to find
Nick Kwiatkowski out of nowhere. I love that.
West Virginia.
Swinging in from West Virginia.
Third verse.
Oh, that's fair. That's reasonable.
He was good.
Kwiatkowski?
Yeah, he was good.
Yeah. I like Nick Kwiatkowski.
He was fine.
I just made the mistake of.
They let him go. The Raiders paid him, and then I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I don't.
Well, he was a guy.
Yeah.
I think he's better than Kwiatkowski.
What have you done?
What's happening?
You said you just made
made
a mistake.
Weird.
No, I wanted to. I couldn't remember if Keanu Benton was taken ahead of Javon Dexter. He was a few picks ahead of Dexter. Mm-hmm. And then I realized that one pick after the Bears drafted Tyreek Stevenson, John Michael Schmitz was drafted.
Oof.
Mm-hmm. Well,
yeah, there's a different reality we could live in sometimes.
Now that's interesting, right? You got Jack Sanborn, and you still think that's a hole you need to fill. You don't have a center, but you're like, we got that figured out. Like, no, you don't have that figured out. You need to invest there and not so much in the linebackers. Well, they chose to.
And the reason why I was looking up Keanu Benton, who has a very high 75.2 overall grade from Pro Football Focus to this point in his rookie season, is because, did you guys see the snap counts of Javon Dexter and Zach Pickens yesterday?
No.
I did because we talked before the show.
We talked before the show, but if you had to guess, how many snaps did Javon Dexter have yesterday?
I don't remember seeing him, so I'd say it's less than 10.
It was a little bit more than 10. You somehow guessed it right on the nose.
14.
Zach Pickens was on the field for 11.
Javon Dexter did not make the box score last week. He did make it yesterday. Now, I don't know.
I mean, when you bring in Montez Sweat, it impacts a lot of people. Obviously, you saw Domrob was a healthy scratch, but also what happens when they start to kick guys inside, right? You kick DeMarcus Walker inside. You still got Justin Jones. Billings is going to get his first and second down snaps. I don't know if you still have time left to develop those two kids, which you need to because you still don't have answers at 3-tech. Well, maybe one of them could be because I think you know what Justin Jones is and is not at this point.
Right. I know you're trying to win football games. I get it. 10-7 still on the table here, as just mentioned. However, Justin Jones signed a 2-year deal. All right. I'm going to be surprised if Justin's back with the Bears next year.
I'd be surprised as well.
Okay. So, listen, you're 2-7, Flus. Get Dexter and Pickens on the field, at least in that spot. You want to keep playing Andrew Billings? I got it. But whatever snaps Justin's getting, I mean, we're not completely moving to developmental phase here, but I'm not asking you to take out some vet that's dominating. Although, by the way, the Bears hit the quarterback 2 times yesterday, and Justin Jones did it once, and he got there the week prior too. So he is playing better right now. I get why he's out there, but I do think you have to start at least moving those eyes to the future, and you drafted these guys, and they got to play.
Yeah, I agree with you. You got to play, and him and Travis Smith have to devise a plan to get those kids some snaps.
I mean, let's go strict. You want Justin? Let's go strict rotation. Let's play. Let's split it up even. Let's go.
Yeah.
Y'all gonna.
You got to find out what they can do, man. And I've been impressed by Zach Pickens. He's flashed when he's gotten his opportunities. And, I think he needs to continue to get those opportunities so he can develop.
I mean, Jeremiah had a week where he graded top 2 rookie, whatever it was. He was up there. Bet he had a higher scoring week than Jalen Carter.
All right, guys. Well, we do have some updates from Matt Eberflus from House Hall. The phrasing on Justin Fields has changed.
Day-to-day?
He is day-to-day.
There it is.
The Bears do have to put an injury report out today, even though they are not practicing, but he will be listed as limited.
You got to make the Panthers prepare for him both, so he'll be day-to-day. He'll be a game-time decision.
But this is still different. Like, he's not naming Bagent the starter.
Yeah.
Basically, the last 3 weeks,
He did.
Bagent or Justin's doubtful. Bagent is going to start. This is different, so it leaves open the possibility. Here's some good news on Jaquan Brisker. He is back and full go after the concussion.
Good.
Tremaine Edmonds still day-to-day with his knee. Kari Blasingame is out with his concussion.
Yeah, no way he was going to be able to turn that around in 3 days like that and play on Thursday. I would probably give Tremaine because you got 10 days. I would give him the extra week for his knee.
It's a no-brainer. You're in the position where you do not need to rush anybody for anybody's health right now with the team where it's at. I'm actually interested. Robert Burns, I'm interested to see what he'll do.
See what he can do at fullback?
Yeah, why not?
You think they'll bring him up, or you think they just play without one? That dude is a tank.
I mean,
I would use him. I like you know me. I'm a
fullback guy for sure.
I put Herb out there if I could on Thursday.
I am definitely a pro fullback for sure. And that Robert Burns dude, if y'all haven't seen him, dude is like just one big muscle. Like it's just one big muscle.
He was at his locker the other day, and I'm looking at him like, all right, I'd like to see you on the field.
Dude,
you look ready.
For real. I'd like to run behind that guy.
I'm interested. Let's go. Kari is a tank in himself.
Oh, he is, for sure.
Like his traps, these are the traps, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're like, ba-ding.
Yeah.
I mean, the dude is ripped.
Robert Burns' muscles have muscles.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, make sure you check out FOCO. Get fitted out in the best sports gear around. Hoodies, shoes, signs, bobbleheads. FOCO has everything in between. And whatever season it might be, football, baseball, basketball, they got your shirts, hats, polos, bags, everything you need for a game. Plus, they help deck our set out here with some awesome stuff here at the CHGO studios. Check out FOCO.com. Click the link in the description below for all non-presale items. Use the promo code CHGO. You'll get 10% off.
If you want to wear sweet hoodies like Herb's wearing and get them for 20% off, you want to become a diehard. It also is a great support to us, and you will get more of our exclusive content. You get a free t-shirt when you become a member. You get to go hang out in the Discord lounge with all your Bears fans, which is always a fascinating conversation. I love popping in there myself. I do it all the time. And, I mean, these are my buddies. I love them. Radio Maverick, I'm thinking of you right now. All right, and the next 3 tailgates, so we got one left. X Golf, this Thursday night, they're giving away a $200 gift certificate to any of their Chicagoland locations. So find the X Golf nearest you at playxgolf.com/Chicagoland. Golf season will be around here before you know it. And by the way, you could go play today. Some of us scheduled a tennis match, which is very exciting too. All right. But become a diehard, get the free t-shirt, get in the Discord, get more dope merch, get the premium written content. Hoge with his newsletter that comes out every week. My grades yesterday, it only took me 2 hours to write them. Giving you all the effort, damn it. So become a diehard. Thank you very much. AllCHGO.com is where you do this. AllCHGO.com.
Before we get out of here, we got to tell you a lot about what's going on this week. It is a busy week. And Thursday, especially game day, we do have the tailgate, last tailgate of the year. Seems like it's going to be a warmish week, so that's good, I hope, for the tailgate Thursday. And we got a couple different options for you, right? So if you're going to the game, tailgate is a great option for you. And you can get tickets right now at allchgo.com. Check our events page. And like Carm just said, if you are a diehard, and if you're not, why are you not? Go sign up to be a diehard. You get 20% off coming to the tailgate. Now, your other option, if you're not going to the game, we're going to have a live watch party Thursday at Joe's on Weed Street. Brian Urlacher is going to be there. So we got pre, post, and
I've heard of him.
Little halftime
54.
show with Lack that we're planning on. So multiple options there. You can go to the game, go to the tailgate. You can go to our watch party if you're not going to the game. We have a lot of fun over there at Joe's on Weed Street. And we do have some people that go to the tailgates that don't actually go to the football game. We're going to provide some transportation for you to come to the watch party. So tailgate watch party is also an option for you. And if you come to the tailgate, you are guaranteed space at the watch party because some space might be limited. Anyway, I know it's a lot to take in.
And the shuttle will not be Carm's Honda Accord, I've been told.
Well, it might be for me, but it'll be my own personal shuttle. There you go.
I'll drive you, baby.
By the way, Braggs is all worried like we're not going to go to the tail. I'm still going to the tailgate.
I won't. Sorry. Got to set up.
Okay, that's a good excuse. For me, though, Bears Thursday night game, what do you think? I'm going to drive into the city at 4 o'clock? No, I'll be down here about 11. Okay,
That's
so
real.
what else the hell am I going to do? I'm going to
That's
go to the
real.
tailgate. I hope the tailgate starts early, so we'll be there, and or at least I will be there.
It'll be a good time.
And then we'll head over to Joe's for the pregame show, and it'll be a fun time.
I'm whenever that tailgate starts, I'll be there. I asked Greg when it does, and he's going to check with upper management. He's going to get back to us, and we'll get back to you, and we're all excited to be there. And then we're going over to Joe's, and we're going to hang with 54. Then the Bears are going to crack the Panthers, and I'm going to start talking about how it's only 7 more wins to get to 10.
Get to 10. There you go. Listen, I know we got to get some super chats and get out of here. And I didn't get the key plays in time to go through a whole thing, but there's just a couple things I got to talk about.
Please.
Obviously, the turnovers and the penalties were huge, right? And we can talk about the turnovers and kind of what happened on those if we want to dissect each of those turnovers. But I want to point out a couple of these huge penalties that I think were killers for the Bears.
Let's just all reset right now. We are going into Herb's big top 5 plays, whatever he's going to hit right now. Let's go.
First quarter, the Bears got the ball at the minus 46-yard line. It is 1st and 10, 7 minutes, 4 seconds left. There's a holding call on Darnell Wright. It negated a 6-yard run by Darrington Evans. They were driving. They were trying to go up 14-0 or at least 10-0. They were moving the ball. They were nearing midfield, and then that holding call backs them up. It throws them out of the rhythm. It puts them behind the chains, and then you pair that with what comes next, which was the first interception from Tyson Bagent. I don't think that happens if they don't get the holding call. I think they're ahead of the chains, and you don't have to make the same type of calls they were making. They were doing things in rhythm. They were running the ball, getting them out on the edge, doing those types of things when you're ahead of the chains. You get down, now you're looking at, 2nd and 15, and then that's when he throws the interception. He's late on the comeback to Cole Kmet, and the Saints take over at the plus 45.
I thought it was a weak call.
And look,
I agree.
Bagent's interceptions are on Bagent. However, to that point, and then also, if we're talking about Darnell Wright yesterday, look, Bears get the ball back on their own 37, under 2 minutes to go. First play, holding, right. 1st and 20. I mean, you're just, hey, young man, in your third start, go win it on the road, go win it against a good defense, and go win it behind the sticks. There was a lot that went into the failures of the fourth quarter.
We talk about, playing this complementary football to help a young quarterback out, especially on the road in a hostile environment. You can't shoot yourself in the foot like that. They did it again later. This is the third quarter, about 6:22 left. The Bears got the ball at the plus 23-yard line, holding on 2 people. Braxton Jones and Lucas Patrick were flagged for holding. It negated a 13-yard run by Deontay Foreman. He got them down to the 10-yard line. Again, a drive where they were absolutely humming. I think they go 1st and 10 from there. They're going to score a touchdown. That did not happen. They had the holding call that negated that run, and then on the very next play, Braxton Jones says, I didn't do it. They actually gave the last penalty to Lucas Patrick. I'm going to get mine in for sure. False start. You lose 5 more yards. Now the ball's at the 38-yard line. Deontay Foreman actually saves both of them, comes back with a 23-yard run, gets him down to the 15. That's the play where he should have picked his knees up, and he probably scores.
High knees.
Yes, he's got to get his knees up, and then he probably scores on that too. But again, you go from having it at the 10 to now you're outside of that, and they end up settling for a field goal there. Those are penalties that you just cannot afford to have when you're not a very good football team. You can't play like that. You can't shoot yourself in the foot. And the Bears did it a few times, leading to points coming off the board, and then in some cases with the turnovers, points going on the board for the Saints with the field position that they had. Not good.
Yeah, right.
It's killer.
It's What's also just, look, you're the hits principal. Every single week, 8 penalties, 71 yards, 9 penalties, 108 yards. I mean, just too much. It should not be going on.
And the refs weren't great yesterday. The refs were not great yesterday. Everything from spotting the ball to questionable penalties. But the fact is, you can't put yourself in a position where they're making those calls. And anytime you get, you're a guy reaching across your face and you're leaning out and both of you go to the ground, it gives the ref an option to throw that flag, and he threw it on Darnell right there, and he did the same thing to Lucas Patrick a little later.
I just realized Herb has his shoes off.
Yeah, I didn't.
Of all the days to not have a Soul Savvy ad, I wish we had one, because this man needs some
shoes.
Drops.
I need shoes. No, the shoes I have on today just don't match, and I don't go on TV without matching.
That's amazing.
I mean,
my shoes don't match, so I'm going to go black socks because it matches.
There we go.
How is that, by the way, that I sat here the whole time? I looked straight at those
I didn't
socks.
notice it till literally right now.
I noticed it, and I didn't think anything of it.
I was there immediately. I was ready to talk about it at 12:01.
Law was like, "Yo, where are your shoes?" He's like, "You're too comfortable." I was like,
What's worse, that I didn't notice it or you did notice it?
I think it's me. I think on that one it's
It
me.
didn't
Like,
say anything.
yeah, it's content that we blew.
And
so
why
I
are you
couldn't-
folding your
because
your,
I
once
couldn't-
again not matching socks?
mad.
They are
Weird.
matching
What is it matching?
each other.
And why do they go over the jeans?
Because I think it's just like, it's like a baseball knicker, old school. I'm the vet on the show. Look,
That's not it.
You're not playing baseball
not
right
it.
now.
I can't.
That's not it.
Yeah. Okay. We got some super chats to fly. Or you got more plays? Or
No, that's it,
Okay.
man. I had
right.
more plays when there, the turnovers and things like that, but we know what happened.
Yeah.
on
All
those
right.
turnovers.
Super chat it, and I got one thing on Braggs before we leave. Eli Sherman, $4.99. This staff is coaching for their jobs, and you can tell as they have given up on development. 95 over 99 and 96 on D.
Yep.
62 and 65 are not good. Play Jatiri.
I agree with that too.
That's interesting. Just call me ID 199. Who are guys favoring for the next quarterback in the draft? I'll tell you this. If I had to rank them in terms of most likely to be a Bear next year, I'd go Caleb Williams, J.J. McCarthy,
Yes.
then Drake May. I'm not saying that's my order. That's how I would.
I think that's about right.
That's how I think the Bears.
It has nothing to do with Drake May. I just don't want another North Carolina quarterback. I just don't want
It's
it.
gonna be a tough one.
I don't want J.J. McCarthy.
I want Justin Fields to be good.
I don't want Caleb Williams jumping in the stands to cry with his mom after the game either.
I like emotions.
Well, emotions are fine, but
Great job by Washington covering.
I'm going to go weep after the show.
Eric Forsell, $5. Nothing says pounding the rock like putting Tyler Scott in at fullback. Am I right?
exactly.
Right.
Tyler Scott's got to be looking around like,
It's a great super chat.
Just call me ID. Follows up 199. I like Penix at quarterback. Super accurate. Destroyed Caleb. Well, he's destroyed the defense, and the defense coordinator got.
Yeah, Caleb does not play linebacker last time I checked.
I saw a lot in that game. I had that game on most of the time. I wasn't like intently watching every play, but Caleb Williams was doing plenty too.
Oh yeah, no, for
Caleb
sure. It
Williams
was just a shootout, and they had the ball last, and that
Yeah.
USC defense is atrocious. I like Penix. I just don't like left-handed quarterbacks. The only one I've ever liked was Steve Young.
Also, he is thin.
Yeah.
Like he is.
I got any other left-handed quarterbacks you loved other than Steve Young? I love Steve Young.
John Kitna,
I'm trying to think.
Was he left-handed?
wasn't he?
No, I don't think so.
Who was Detroit's
think so.
Scott Mitchell?
Scott Mitchell.
He's
Was
Scott
Orlovsky
the Lion?
left-handed?
No, he was just
No.
running out of the back of the end
No,
zone.
he's right-handed, trying to get out of the back of the end zone.
Yeah, you're right.
Ken Stabler. There's
Stabler.
we're gonna go old school.
Sure.
Yeah.
Vic, I'm
Joe
tripping. I love
Theismann.
Mike Vick. Sorry, I'm bugging.
Oh yeah,
but,
Mike Vick.
But Steve Young and Mike Vick are the only two that
Joe
I can.
Theismann, the is man.
For the record, Glenn Kozlowski played at BYU with both Steve Young and Jim McMahon. Who was better? Jim McMahon. Thank you very much. You love Glenn Kozlowski. Don't give me that look.
At BYU, he's saying that.
He said he played with both of them. He played with both in college. McMahon got hurt, but who was the better quarterback between the two? Give me McMahon. Jim McMahon was a beast, and then Charles Martin dumped him
I
on
said
shoulder.
anything that led somehow to that take.
He was talking about McMahon before the show even started.
I love Jim McMahon.
Shaquille McNair, $5. The coaching is killing this team. I like the players we have. A few are questionable, but overall, I do not like the schemes I've seen so far. What else we got? Eric, again, $5. The best part of Thursday games for Bears fans is that it doesn't ruin football for the rest of the weekend.
Correct.
I am looking forward to watching football Sunday. Quinn R, $4.99. For what I know, Flus has a say in the roster now. Has he really earned the right to have a say in who they go after or place?
Who knows how much of a say he actually. I don't see him stepping in being like, I love this guy. That just doesn't feel like the Flus to me.
Wow, I could not disagree more.
Really?
He's talked about it. His scouting background, they're drafting players catered to the system. I think he has a huge say. I think Flus had a huge say in trading for Montez Sweat last week.
I think any coach, I think I said this last night, I think any coach just kind of inherently has a say in the personnel decisions. If for nothing else, then you are acquiring players to fit their scheme. So if they don't say a word, but they're like, this is my scheme, then the GM has to go get players to fit that scheme.
To argue against what I just said, I am now thinking about when the Flus got on the phone with Velus. And remember that? Velus, remember we talked, like Flus was like, they were having a moment, those two. Flus drafted Velus. Poles is probably looking at Flus saying, you made me do this. And I look terrible, and everyone's coming at me.
Let's not start fake news. $4.99.
I think I nailed it.
Quinn.
Flus, what? It was a Flus pick.
Grumpy Bear.
Go ahead.
$5. Looks like all the Big Ten coaches want Harbaugh out now. Seems like the Cosmos are aligned for Harbaugh becoming the future Chicago Bears coach.
You see the Bears hiring Jim Harbaugh?
That's the thing I can't get over. No, I don't. I don't see George doing that. I have no idea what Kevin Warren's
What was their relationship when Kevin Warren was there?
That's
Do you
what
know?
I mean. I know that most of the coaches did not like Kevin Warren for how he handled COVID.
Yeah.
Because they wanted to play football, and he said it's not safe.
I mean, I'm not opposed to it. He's had success at every stop. I'm not opposed to it. I don't know.
That doesn't mean that they
the
didn't,
reality of it. Yeah.
That doesn't mean that they didn't have a good relationship. I have no idea what the relationship's like, but I know that was an icy. There was friction is the word I would use with Kevin Warren as the commissioner of the Big Ten.
I'm not a Harbaugh guy.
I am not. Harbaugh is just weird to the media. He's just cool. I don't know.
You know, he also is a winner.
That's
he's literally won everywhere he's gone. If you're the Bears,
all I care about.
I'm going to say this right now. If you're the Bears and you can hire either Jim Harbaugh or even Bill Belichick, you hire them.
Yeah.
I don't care, Bill Belichick's past his prime. Maybe, but if you're the Chicago Bears who can't get anything right and the greatest coach of all time's available, you hire him.
Yeah, I'm here for it, especially like if Harbaugh is available and they want to come back, I'm here for it. The man has won. I like the way that he played with San Francisco. I like the way he tailored the game plan around his players. They seem to fight for him. I'm so sick of liking the Bears coaches and players. Yeah. I like most of them. It doesn't translate to dubs.
Hire somebody who they have a proven track record as a head coach in the NFL. Also, I think we're wasting our time with this because if I had to bet right now, I think the head coach of the Chicago Bears next year is Matt Eberflus.
Flus for 3. Bang! The Flusy. Back again.
A pretty strong endorsement that came from Post last week.
That was eye-opening. All right. Can we talk about Braggs in the morning meeting?
That's... Sure, if you'd like. Greg Braggs is the greatest. We love Greg Braggs.
No, here's my thing. Braggs even if he hadn't said this on the show, I wouldn't even bring this up. But even on the show, he's openly complained about our meetings. He has campaigned for no more meetings. And then we have the meetings, and I say, let's try to keep this to 10 to 15 minutes. And that guy spends 17 minutes talking.
Let's go full actual what happened. I asked him at the very end of the meeting because we were
wait. After I'd already said meeting is over, I have to leave.
After everybody in the meeting is literally taking a pencil and stabbing themselves in the neck that we're having this 8:00 Monday morning meeting. No one wants to be there. But I wanted to know what time does the tailgate start on Thursday. So I said, what time does the tailgate start on Thursday, Braggs? 58 minutes later. We had a breakdown of every corner of the tailgate and how it had to get taken down and the lots closing and this, that, and a zillion different things. And then there was still no answer on what time it was at. And I'm sitting there like literally just cursing at myself like, why did you ask that? You should have asked it I could have asked it a million other times. But it was I now know a lot of details about this tailgate that I did not know. And so thank you to Greg Braggs for the filling in all the details, not the one that I really needed to know, though, which is what time I can get there and hang out with you at our tailgate Thursday.
Absolutely loved Ken Mastrole. I'm just poking fun at him, but he did that to you, too. You were like, yo, what's up with Justin Fields? How do you fix him? He's like, we got bands and we've got 3D imaging and we don't do the traditional stuff. I mean, we do some of the cone stuff and we do some of the drop back and it's like,
I actually enjoyed that answer. It had nothing to do with Fields.
It was good.
But it was good insight
all
on how he
stuff was
trains
good.
those quarterbacks. I appreciated it.
All of that stuff was good for sure.
All right. I just don't want to hear any more no more meetings campaigns. When
I'm having a meeting in
I
5
start the
minutes to
meeting
find out.
at 8 and I say I want this to be over by 8:15, and at 8:17 I say I have to leave, and then he talks for another 12 minutes.
I love this. I'm having a meeting in 5 minutes to find out what time we start the tailgate. Which would have been great if you had said when I asked what time is the meeting. I don't know yet, Carmen. I'll let you know later.
I have a meeting at 1:30 to find out.
Find out what time the meeting
Asked
is.
and answered. Bam.
I'm talking to, that's the thing, because, we got to get the goose there, and then I'm not sure what time the barbecue is going to get there, and then we got to get all the way over there. So, traffic could be really bad. So this could be a situation where, like, people, I'm not sure how we're going to do all this. So I'm a little confused. And then I'm not sure what car I'm going to take. And by the way, become a diehard.
Give us a thumbs up. We greatly appreciate it.
This is all out of love. It really is. Braggs does a tremendous job with the tailgate.
I got on his Spaces last night. It was.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Scary.
I couldn't help myself.
I had just gotten home, sitting down to finally eat food, and my phone starts ringing, and I tell my wife, I guarantee this is Braggs. I pulled my phone out of my pocket. It's, of course, Braggs. I knew he was going to be asking me a question about cutting a clip last night.
That's understandable.
Yeah.
Amazing work ethic.
Yeah, it was great.
You gotta start jumping in Braggs' spaces a little bit often. I only catch him sometimes.
No, you don't.
You don't.
It's a weird
place.
It is a weird place. It is. I'm telling you.
I can imagine that.
I mean, I love these people, but
Braggs' spaces.
Yeah.
It's like his high school friends who like tell inside jokes, and it's dangerous. I'm just telling you.
Do you think when Tony La Russa was in the White Sox meetings last week that he ever once brought up Craig Counsell's name?
God, I hate that.
We got Pedro.
If he ever even brought up firing Pedro, his next thing out of his mouth was probably hire me again.
I mean, why are they letting him in the frickin' meetings? What are we doing?
Congrats to the Cubs on being a real organization. I am extremely jealous.
Well, we now know that
for you guys.
Somebody thought that they should have been in the playoffs this year.
Yeah. But not until the final week of the season. Whatever.
That was how many games in a row did they lose?
Lot.
Well, they lost 6 or 7 to the Diamondbacks in September. That was sort of a problem.
Yeah, they lost.
The Diamondbacks were good.
They went to Denver. and let the Rockies do them in, which was bad. They came back and got the sweep from them later at Wrigley, but then they went to Atlanta and dropped those 2 when they were up 6-0, and then they were up something else like that. Bullpen just gave it all back.
Their bullpen was whatever. It's fine. Go watch the Cubs show. They're talking about a new manager.
Yeah,
it's
there we
exciting.
go.
Yeah, I'm going to tune in.
Robert,
that's a great job with that thing with David Ross, because that's
it looks like
the
2
thing of
middle
him
fingers.
flicking them.
Yeah, that was
He's
me,
got middle
obviously.
fingers.
Yeah, that was.
But you put the thumbs over him. I like that.
Yeah, it was a little fun I had. Yeah,
and it works well for his
it
firing
definitely works
day.
today.
Yeah.
Definitely works today. I've thrown
I feel
that
bad
gift.
for Rossi.
I do too. He's such a good dude. I had a
Rossi
chance to
won a
just chop it
World
up with him for
Series.
about 10 or 15 minutes at that last homestand against the Rockies, actually. And he just stood on the side and third base line just chopped it up. And he's a cool ass dude.
I mean, they Rick Renteria at Rossi. That's rough.
It is, but I mean, I've been saying for months, like there was going to be a tough conversation to be had at some point, and apparently it didn't really even happen. They just hired counsel instead and said, "Okay, bye, Rossi."
All right, one more super chat here, Antonio 499. 2 questions: would you open Lou and Arumo, and are they going to move Tevin again? Love you guys. First of all, Tevin played really well yesterday.
Tevin's our best
He
offensive
might be able to
lineman.
play both guard spots, though.
Yeah, no,
I'm not sure.
Tevin's
That might be a
legit.
thing he can do.
And I like him being next to Darnell, so they better figure out how to get Nate playing left guard next year.
Lou is the Bengals defensive coordinator, which he should be a head coach somewhere. But if they're going to fire Flus and then hire another defense coordinator, that's going to be a tough one.
By the way, yeah. I don't know if that was a hot take, but I think like if you were to grade like who's been their best offensive lineman when he's been on the field this year, I think Tevin's the answer. Also, hey, to your White Sox, to your White Sox thing, I don't know. Who'd you rather have be your manager, David Ross or Pedro Grifol?
Me.
I hire Ross in 5 seconds if I was the White Sox right now.
For sure. Hey, I dropped the
Rossi, yes.
Latest edition of Bear With Me, my one-on-one conversation series I've been doing. Kyler Gordon was this week. Had a really good conversation with him about his injury, some off-the-field stuff, and all the turmoil surrounding the team. Pretty cool. About 12, 13 minutes or so. It is up. You can go to my Twitter page to find the link to the Biggs Media YouTube page. Me and Kyler Gordon sat down this week. It's pretty cool. Check it out.
There it is.
Awesome. Appreciate Herb being here the last 2 days. Check out all his awesome work. He'll be there at house.
Never going on the road again. I'm come hang out with you guys every road game.
And Baldy tomorrow noon. So Baldy's going to be on Tuesday this week. Everything's kind of shifted because of the Thursday games. So Brian Baldinger joins us at noon, and I believe they're actually live right now, too, on the new All NFL show, All Cities National NFL show. That's live right now, so go check that out. And if you want more on the Cubs stuff, CHGO Cubs. What do you got?
They paid him $40 million.
Yeah, and I saw that was double the offer for the Brewers game.
Richest MLB manager contract.
They paid
ever.
this dude $8 million a year.
5 years, $40 million?
Yeah.
Managers don't matter, though, they keep telling me.
That is...
However, here's a
Wow.
Here's a quote attributed to Prince Fielder, former Brewer, played with Council back in the day. This is from Adam McCalvey, who's been writing about the Brewers for at least a decade. Prince said, asked to give an example of how Craig Counsell helped him as a teammate. Quote, "There was one time I was thinking about bunting. Craig told me if I bunted, he would punch me in the face."
Oh, my God, I love that.
That's great.
Let's freaking go.
That dude's 300 pounds. You swing the bat. Bunt, and then what? Like,
Prince
you're going to bust
Fielder-
it down the first baseline?
I actually used to cover the Brewers in spring training, and Prince Fielder once told me this is when he was supposedly a vegetarian after one off season, and I was talking to him about it. And he told me, well, cake is vegetarian, which I just thought was
Could be,
the
for
best.
sure.
True.
Yeah,
I'd have to say the Brewers are kind of my second MLB team. Because when I was at
I love Miller
Wisconsin,
Park.
we used to drive over to Milwaukee and go to
County
bunch of
Stadium.
games. And so now, the one, I don't know, it's not like I care that much, but
Yeah.
now he's the Cubs manager. Cool. Good for the Cubs. Again, congrats
Wow.
on being a real organization. Must be nice. We're out of here. Baldy tomorrow at noon. Great show. And everybody enjoy the rest of your Monday. We'll talk to you tomorrow. See ya.
We all silly like the mayor.